The Damascus Document, a Damascus Rule, is one of the most interesting texts of the Dead Sea Scrolls because it is the only Qumran work that was known before the discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It is a composite text edited together from different sections of the larger source, and scholars have attempted to place the different sections in a chronological order to generate a more complete work of the original using evidence from the Dead Sea Scrolls. There were a number of fragments from the scroll found in the Cairo Geniza before the Qumran discoveries. The Cairo Geniza was located in a room adjoining the Ben Ezra Synagogue in Old Cairo, which was gradually stuffed full of papers until it was discovered by European scholar Dr Solomon Schechter in 1897. He found over 190,000 manuscripts and fragments that were written in mainly Hebrew and Judeo-Arabic. The fragments were quite large, and a number of them matched documents found later in Qumran. They were divided into two separate sections, CD-A and CD-B. Schechter dated CD-A to the 10th century CE and CD-B to 11th or 12th century CE. In contrast to the fragments found at Qumran, the CD documents are largely complete, and therefore are vital for reconstructing the text. The fragments found by Solomon Schechter in the Ben Ezra Synagogue were originally called the Zadokite fragments, but after the work was found at Qumran, the name was changed because the document had numerous references to Damascus. The way this Damascus is treated in the document makes it possible that it was not a literal reference to Damascus in Syria, but to be understood either geographically for Babylon or Qumran itself. If symbolic, it is probably taking up the biblical language found in Amos chapter 5 verse 27. Therefore I shall take you into exile beyond Damascus. Damascus was part of Israel under King David, and the Damascus document expresses an eschatological hope of the restoration of a Davidic monarchy. Structure. The combined text of CD-A and CD-B contains 20 columns of writing. As it has come down to us, 2 columns have been mislocated. Columns 15 and 16 originally preceded column 9. Fragments of this text from Qumran include material not found in CD. The document divides into 2 parts, commonly called Admonition and Laws. Davis divides the Admonition into 4 sections: history, legal, warnings, a supplement. The laws feature oaths and vows, sundry rulings, camp laws, and a fragment of penal codes. The Damascus document can be divided into 2 separate sections of work: the Admonition and the Laws. The Admonition comprises moral instruction, exhortation, and warning addressed to members of the sect, together with polemic against its opponents. It serves as a kind of introduction to the second section. Meanwhile, the Laws looks at this new covenant community expressed to them through the teacher of righteousness. It goes into great detail of the different social arrangements that were taking place at the time. The Admonition. This part is divided into 4 subsections that each outline different parts of information that were especially relevant to the new covenant community. Section I, 1v, 12a. There is a strong description of the community and how they originated with the purpose and goals. Section IV, 12b, 7, 9. It outlines the views of people in and outside the community, and discusses that these people are straying from the real law. Meanwhile, the people in this community are drawn together by the covenant and strict laws they follow together. It is said that people who follow this law will attain salvation. Section 7, 5 19 outlines the strong warnings given to the people who stray from the law and gives vivid critiques of the Prince of Judah, and also 3 nets of Belial. Section 19, 33xx 34 has more warnings of not betraying the community, and making promises to be faithful. A. Admonition 1. History background to the community 2. Legal. The significance of being outside and inside the community. Some of the law's 3 warnings includes the 3 nets of Belial. 4. Supplement discusses apostasy, disobedience, further warnings and a promise to the faithful. The laws. The first 12 laws are from the Damascus document found at Qumran, while the others are from Cairo Geniza. 1. Introduction. The new laws, priests, and overseer. 2. Rules about priests and disqualification. 3. Diagnosis of skin disease. 4. Impurity from menstruation and childbirth. 5. Levitical laws pertaining to harvest. 6. Gleanings from grapes and olives. 7. Fruits of the 4th year. 8. Measures and tithes. 9. Impurity of idolaters' metal, corpse impurity, and sprinkling. 10. Wife suspected of adultery. 11. Integrity with commercial dealings and marriage. 12. Overseer of the camp. 13. 15.1-15a. Oath to return to the law of Moses be those joining the covenant. 14. 15.15b20. Exclusion from the community on the basis of a physical defect. 15. 16.1-20. Oath to enter the community, as well as laws concerning the taking of other oaths and vows. 16. 9.1. Death to the one responsible for the death of a Jew using Gentile courts of justice. 17. 9.2-8. Laws about reproof and vengeance. 18. 9.9-10.108. Laws about oaths, lost articles and testimony and judges. 19. 10.10b. 13. Purification in water. 20. 10.14-11.18. Regulations for keeping the Sabbath. 21. 11.19-12.2. Laws for keeping the purity of the temple. 22. 12.2b6. Dealing with transgressors. 23. 12.6b11. Relations with Gentiles. 24. 12.11b15. Dietary laws. 25. 12.15b22. 2 Purity rules. 26. 12.22b14.19. Regulations for those in the camps. 27. 14.20-22. Penal Code dealing with infractions of communal discipline. 28. Expulsion ceremony. This was found in Qumran. B. Laws. 1. Oaths and vows. Taking oaths, becoming a member of the community, offerings and vows to God. 2. Sundry rulings, rules regarding witnesses, purity and purification, the Sabbath, sacrifices, Gentiles and impure foods. 3. Camp laws, laws for camp living, qualification for an overseer, relations with outsiders, ranks and needs of camp members. 4. Penal Code, fragment concerning punishments. CD and the Community Rule. The document contains prominent reference to a cryptic figure called the Teacher of Righteousness, whom some of the other Qumran scrolls treat as a figure from the past, and others treat as a figure in the present, and others still as a figure of the future. Micah Pesha, Psalms Pesha and also 4Q172. The document provides some insight into the period of his existence by introducing him as having arisen 390 years after the first fall of Jerusalem, and God observed the deeds that they sought him with a whole heart, and he raised for them a teacher of righteousness to guide them in the way of his heart. Quote, on the basis of that reference, historians date the teacher to circa 150 BCE. Scholars have also believed that he was a priest based on other variations in the text that are also thought to be him. These include the teacher, the unique teacher, and the interpreter of the law. This teacher of righteousness does not feature at all, however, in the Community Rule, another document found amongst the Qumran scrolls. To some scholars, this suggests that the two works are of different Second Temple groups. Most scholars, however, focus on the high degree of shared terminology and legal rulings between the Damascus document and the community rule, including terms like sons of light and the penal codes, and on the likelihood that fragment 4Q265 is a hybrid edition of both documents. They turn to the fact that the Damascus document describes the group amongst whom the document was created as having been leaderless for 20 years, before the teacher of righteousness established his rule over the group to explain that both works are from the same group under different situations. Within this approach of the majority of scholars, the textual relationship between the Damascus document and community rule is not completely resolved, though there is a general agreement that they have some evolutionary connection. Some suspect that the community rule is the original text that was later altered to become the Damascus document. Others that the Damascus document was redacted to become the community rule. A third group argues that the community rule was created as a utopian ideal rather than a practical replacement for the Damascus document, and still others that believe the community rule and Damascus document were written for different types of communities, one enclosed and the other open.